Okay, yeah, let's start. Welcome everybody. Nice that you're here, that you choose for my talk. Today we have something about your front end is what is it? Can someone say like, hey, what is wrong with this? If you look on sustainability, it's white, for example. So we can already improve something in my presentation that could be better. And that's toggle to dark mode. Because most of our applications are running on screens on OLED, so you already win something if you look to sustainability to that. That projector is not, but the recording afterward, people will check it, and then dark mode will be better. And then the next step, what will be wrong with this still? We need to change colors, because green is not sustainable. So that's weird, right? Green is not good. Like Kermit the Frog said in history, it's not easy to be green. And green is not sustainable, because on plastic, there are a lot of toxic things in it that make it so wrong. So green is not good. Everybody is saying green coding, but actually we need to think of another name, like sustainability coding or something. But yeah, so we need to change colors. So we already have something, but still it's not good, because the images also take some, so we need to change the images. And then you have your front end is killing. So this is like we are using dark mode, dark colors, and don't use images, because over the line it also takes a lot of megabytes. So we already improved something here. So dark colors, this is not working, so let's go it from there. There are some energy patterns, what I said. For mobile, for example, you can use dark UI colors. I need to zoom in, but dark, use Wi-Fi over cellular, and there's a whole website about it with all these kind of things. You can read it later on. It's a big list. I should have zoom in, but yeah. You get the point. And the most important question: what's in it for you? There's something incoming. There's an incoming law, the CSRD, and we need to create, as big companies, sustainability reports, just like we do with financial reporting. So I will tell you something about that. About the green software principles, I will tell you more about it. There are 8. And we need to, as developers, we need to think about those principles. I created this sustainability pyramid, and what can we do? And I will give a live templating demo with CO2.js, how you can measure your code in the front end with TypeScript or JavaScript, what you like. And first, my story. Next video credits going to the European Union. When I saw this video, I was thinking like, hey, I should think about sustainability. I should think about it in my work, in my daily life. I'm not perfect, so I'm also doing things that are not green. So I try to do my best on certain points. So let's deep dive what this video is, and it's going about why you should think about our world.
This is you. This is our homes, our cities, our lives and livelihoods. And this is climate change. It's here. It's happening right now. People sometimes wonder, what will happen in Europe if we do nothing, if we let global warming continue? Each year, an additional 50 million people will be exposed to high wildfire danger. Heat waves will cause 90,000 more deaths every year than now. Over 2 million more people will be flooded in coastal areas and river floodplains, while annual flood damages will rise to 300 billion euros. There will be major shifts in ecological domains throughout Europe, with alpine tundra seriously contracting and almost disappearing in the Pyrenees. Droughts and water shortages will impact southern regions even more than they do now, affecting farming, crop yield, energy production, and public water supply. What will happen if we act? If we limit global warming to well below 2 degrees, how will people, the economy, and ecosystems in Europe benefit? 2/3 of the increase in people exposed to high wildfire danger would be avoided. 2/3 of the increase in deaths from heat waves would be avoided. The impacts of coastal and river flooding would be more than halved, and stress on ecosystems and habitats would be considerably lower. The drop in water resources availability and drought losses in southern regions would be halved. And if we also adapt to climate change, we can reduce impacts even further. Adaptation can have long-lasting benefits for our people, economy, and our ecosystems. Our study illuminates the importance of the European Green Deal, putting climate action at the heart of our long-term strategy, and why Europe is committed to be climate neutral by 2050.
So yeah, that was my reason I was watching this video, and yeah, I was thinking like I should do something. We saw yesterday with the storm already, and also in the south of Europe, there are things happening that we don't control, and I think we should think about CO2 emissions and that kind of things, and it will help us in the world, I think. With the tiny steps, I think. Hi, my name is Turk. I'm working at Bluff IT. Currently at the Rabobank, I have an assignment where we, for transferring money, we are responsible for it, so that's pretty cool. I am a developer, a speaker, community lead, and blogger, and I love to share knowledge like you see now. And please follow me on LinkedIn or something. If you want to share this presentation, I share with QR code. I will also share it later on. But first, why? Why should you care about this, like the second argument? First question, who is working for a company that have more than 250 people? Can I have a raise of hands? Still people less? Less than 250? Okay. There's a law incoming. That's the CSRD, the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. And what is that? It's a sustainability report, and it's to be more transparent about your efforts to become green. So yeah, it's a kind of financial report, and we need to think about our green efforts. What are we doing for on every scale, like on economic scale, or on governance and that kind of things. So for big companies next year, they need to create this report. So we need to measure everything. So that's also this talk. And it's required by law, more than 250 people, 50 million euros revenue, and 25 million euro on their balance. So that are like, then you need to comply to this law. Yeah, if you look to the aviation industry, everybody is looking to the aviation industry. Yeah, we need to do something about that. But IT is more or less the same. So that's really like, hey, why is nobody saying something about IT? Why is nobody like doing sustainable things in our IT department? So that's also a little bit why we should measure everything and take action, I think. Now the philosophy, there are green software principles. You need to think about energy, about hardware, and about carbon. And how does that comply? Like you have 8 principles where you need to think about. There are like, you need to think one about your carbon. What are you producing there? You need to think about your energy level, like houses. You need to think about which energy you take, like solar, or is it wind, or that kind of things. Hardware, like this is running here. We need to think about like, hey, maybe I can reuse it like for 10 years or something, or take action there. Cloud cost, try to reduce it, measure your Kubernetes cluster. There was a great talk this morning by Mark. And try to measure what you can stop environments, for example. No connections to the outside world is better, so less connections to other endpoints. And yeah, measure on certain times. And if you are executing some code or a batch job, do it on certain times. Do it like on 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Sorry. Yeah, and measure everything. That's number 8. And then the sustainability pyramid. Yeah, you have an end user, a data center, network, and your code. And we think like on our code, we have the biggest impact here. And then the network and the end user, yeah, we don't have any impact there. But actually, it's the other way around. So your code have less impact. So if you change an if statement here, you think, yeah, you cannot make a big impact. But if you're going higher, the impact is better also. So on network, think about caching, think about data centers, and that kind of things. But first, end users. So yeah, we need to change our behavior. We need to think about like, hey, we're using all the times applications. Maybe we can do that less. Going with the train, not with the steam locomotive, because that's all coal, but go with the train, of course. And go, yeah, it goes here. I need to drink something else, sorry. It's going better. Sorry. So you have Ecosia. Who knows this search engine? Who is actually using it? Nobody? So this is the time, yeah, on your search engine you can check it and you can change it to Ecosia instead of Google. And what do? They change, if they have a revenue based on advertisements, and 80 till 100% are going to planting trees. And you can also, it's not going good, sorry. And you can also plant your own trees, I think. And then, yeah, you can also, yeah, the best thing is to do nothing, but yeah, we all want to do something, right? And then the next, data center. Choose your data center wisely. There's a whole website about it, and it's called the directory, the Green Web Directory. And let's check. The Wi-Fi should be better, but that's on a website where you can check all your data centers, are they green or not. And the most data centers are in the US, but in the Netherlands we also have 281 number of data centers, and they have a huge impact. And then the network. Yeah, less is better. So don't use things you don't need, like we all use in a backend, like Kafka, or we download the whole world with NPM. Don't use things you don't need, but reuse. But and then the nicest part, it's your code. Like we have the sustainability pyramid. So actually, if we change something here, then we can have an impact till the end user. So we can make a big impact with some changes here. So that's why we're also measuring our code. You think like, hey, there's nothing less to change on this level only, but on the whole chain, you can make a huge impact. And that's yeah, why I want to give this demo to you. Run your applications on a certain time, what I said. That's also a good idea. Job runner, for example, executes on a certain in the afternoon if you want. That's on the back end. Website Carbon. Who uses Website Carbon? Who heard about this? Nice. Let's try it. Let's go check. Are we going to do bad? Like check TEQnation? Yeah? Oh wait, this is a conference. What is it? So it's now checking the website. Is it green or not? And oh, no. It's actually, yeah, it can be better. So this is also a tip for TEQnation. Yeah, we can improve it. And also for Google, for example. So if you go to google.nl, so Google is actually an A. So yeah, there's almost nothing on Google. So yeah, I already expected this. And I'm working at the Rabobank, and at the Rabobank, you can also check. And it's a C. It's between Google and F. So that's okay. So yeah, try it at home. Try it for your company. That's pretty cool to say to your manager. And it can also be bad, what I said. TypeScript is a good choice. Yeah, there are several researchers, and they say like, hey, the best thing here that we, for our case, is, yeah, you saw JavaScript and Perl was not so good, but TypeScript was an actual good choice. So let's create something with TypeScript. Yeah, don't install the whole world with npm. It's not good. Only use those what needed. Yeah, what I said, npm install is not always good. Only use the things. But yeah, what's important. So let's use CO2.js. It's an open source JavaScript library that enables developers to estimate an emissions, so we can measure our CO2 based on bytes. CO2, what is it? You calculate the amount of grams of CO2 based on bytes. It's a JavaScript library, and you have certain methods per byte, per visit, per page. And what I said, it's yeah, it's converting bytes to CO2. There are two models, the SWD and the 1 byte, and they have their own model. So you have the 1 byte model. The 1 byte model is checking the network transfer. So if you do a call, it's only checking the network and the data center usage. But actually, it's more than only the network. It's also the end user. And it's the platform. So we should also think about outside that scope. And for that, they are using the sustainable web design model. And what they do, they add the end device user. So with your phone, and also production. So we are going to create an application. It's based on React. I'm using Mantine. It's a library that gives you standard components. And Next.js. Yeah, React with Mantine. Or Mantine, I don't know how you say that, but yeah, you get a lot of components out of the box, which is really cool. What we are going to measure is the average of the Netherlands. What's the average there? If you look to the CO2 emissions, we're checking our host, so is Google green, or like TEQnation or localhost. We're using the per visit method. We are comparing to cars. How many kilometers can I drive? Based on how much people are looking on my website. On 10,000 views, and we're looking to images and videos. So, a demo. So what we first need to do is clear this. Control R, that's pretty useful. Then you can also search what you created. So we do an NPX. An NPX is of Next.js that you create your first Next app. And I'm using TypeScript and TEQnation. I try to zoom in. Can you see it still at the back, or yeah? So we are going to create a TypeScript. So it's asking like, hey, what do you want? Do you want to use ESLint, CSS? No, the source, of course. And certain things, yeah, import aliases and more. And then it's creating your first Next.js application. The next is then we want to install certain libraries, not the whole world. For example, the Green Web Foundation, CO2, I'm adding here. Martin, I want to use standard components because it's useful. I'm using the charts. Express route for server.js and Node and Axios to make a call to the backend. Yeah. I will later on say why I choose this setup. Oh wait, I first need to go to TEQnation and then I need to do npm install. So, yeah, we create a Next.js app and we're going to open it. We have a Git, TEQnation, and let's open this. Yeah, we create our first application, and yeah, what I normally do is delete the things you don't need. Some CSS things. I'm creating a directory, and it's called dashboard. Dashboard, and in that I'm creating my components. More about it later, and I create a styles directory where I put all the styles. The global CSS I have there and more. Yeah, there's already some HTML. They put it in. You can just delete it, but now it's just yeah, a Next.js application. They put in some default information. I am using live templating, so I have all my templates here. First, we need to create a post CSS config.js, and that's this one. And what does it contain? It contains some styles also, and it needs to put on a root level. I'm also adding some custom styles. I just copy it for showing the charts and that kind of thing. So yeah, the globals, I don't want to use the CSS they're using of Next.js, so I'm using my own. Is it there? Yeah. And the next step is the average. A page, maybe later on. So what we're now going to do, we want to know the average of the Netherlands. So we're going to create a component. It's called average.tsx. And I have a live template for that. What we here have, we have a div with some text, and we put the average of the CO2 emissions of the Netherlands. You can use the library of CO2.js, import average, and what you can do is import the average intensity from the Green Web Foundation CO2 library, and then you have the Netherlands data. And of course, we need to also in the page, we need to use our average here. So I'm now going to start our application and check if it's working. next build, first build it. Is it correctly? It's linting and doing that kind of stuff. The build is going good, and then we're saying next.start. So we are starting our application now, and we can go to localhost 3000. So we created our first component based on the CO2.js library. So the average of the CO2 emissions in the Netherlands is 267 grams of CO2 per kilowatt hour. So that is our average. Yeah, you can also go to Poland, it will be much higher. You can also get it from that library, but we now just only do it for the Netherlands. Yeah, next one, we're creating a new one. We want to check the host. Is our host green? So they have also something called host.tsx. And I add this. So what they have, I should do this better, hosting.check. Return. So what they have is like in hosting, in also their library, they have a check method, and you give a domain with it, and it's check, hey, is it green? So probably it's checking against a list of green data centers. So we're now checking it with this function. We need to also call it from here with a host. Something like this, and then also we added our host. We are going to build it, and later on we're going to start it. And then next, start. Oh, interesting. That's another one. Oh. So, is our host green? It's not green because we're checking now localhost, and localhost is not green, so it will return false. But if you type in Google, it will return true. So, yeah, that's our second step. Next one will be per visit. So, what we now want to measure is how much is our page polluting. So we have a per visit method, and again, I need to change it to .tsx. And we have some diffs and some text. And again, yeah, we want to know what our emissions are. So we need to put that in. And we can use the SWD, sorry. So we can use SWD for that one. And we can calculate per visit. So on this moment, we need to call the backend. Because the backend only knows how much files I'm transferring over the line. And with Next.js, that's not possible. So I need to call an API. It's not the best, but it's something. And for that, we are using a node. So what I'm doing is create a file, server.js. And within that, I'm calling now, instead of next, I'm calling a node. So what I do now is node server.js, because in the backend I have the possibility to check the transfer files of my things that I send over the line. And Next.js, yeah, is not the best fit for that. So again, a localhost 3000. Oh, I also need to add it to the page. Otherwise it will not work. So per visit. So, and it's also automatically hot reloading. So it should be, yeah, there it was. So yeah, we are going to compare one person or car. It's polluting 150 grams of CO2. And that's not a hybrid or something, that's just a normal car. And our page is producing this amount of grams of CO2. But this is one page view. But if you do it 10,000 times, then you can imagine you have, you need a lot more. Yeah, for that, we're going to create a chart. As a comparison, and I want to compare our amount of kilometers with our emissions. Oh, again, I need to add the .tsx, and then we have again a live template. Otherwise, I'm too much coding. That's why I need live coding. What we added here is a bar chart, and yeah, we want to know what the emissions are of per visit. So what we are going to do is the amount of bytes, square the 10,000 times, like 10,000 views, and then you have a kind of, you know, like how much the actually is going to be if you have 10,000 views. So I'm going to zoom a little bit out. Oh, it's again the wrong one, is it? So 100%. Oh, I again forgot the page. You need to edit on the page. Comparison, so now it will be added. And it's automatically going to, yeah, perfect. And now we have our file size. So 10,000, yeah, we need to restart Node first, otherwise it's thinking like we already using a lot, but this is the first time. So based on our website and then square 10,000 times, we can drive like 85 kilometers on a hybrid car. So that's already a lot. Like, but yeah, you can imagine some websites also have images and that kind of things. And I want to show you the impact on the amount of kilometers, what you can drive, what kind of impact it has. Now it's just 85, that's okay. But if you have an image like 20 MB, then it will be skyrocketing, and that I want to show you. So first, I'm going to create an introduction component. Sorry about the naming. Introduction, the bad naming. And tsx I need to create, of course. .tsx. And I need to add some images to it, so I will get this for my backup. And then here you have the images. So what we are going to do, we're using a component, and it's only an image, and that image is a PNG. And that's an introduction, so we're adding. It's hot reloading, perfect. So yeah, I have an image of some stickers, and it's like 20 megabyte. And now you can already see, like, yeah, I need to zoom in a little bit. Like, I can already, like, 1,100 kilometers I can drive on a Toyota Yaris hybrid. So that is like square 10 or something, even more, that you can drive. So it's, yeah, you have a huge impact if you add such an image on the internet, because, yeah, you will need more energy and you're polluting more. So that is not something what you want. So that is why we are like comparing it with cars. And of course, if you use a Ford Ranger, then yeah, it will also skyrocketing, or yeah, you can drive less kilometers with the Ford Ranger, for example. So this was the kind of demo. There are also e-books. So there's a green software books, which you can use, the sustainable software architecture, development, read them, they're good books. And the three key takeaways are, use an eco-friendly architecture. Don't call other endpoints if you don't need them. Like you can imagine within a Rabobank, we have millions of customers that are transferring money. And if you call an endpoint, and that endpoint has always the same information, but after 2 days you need to call it again, then you can think about caching, for example. Like set that cache for 1 day, and then you're already saving like 1 million of calls and a lot of CO2 and a lot of energy. So you make a huge impact that with only using caching. Yeah, measure everything. What also this morning was said at Mark's talk, measure everything. With CO2.js, you have Kepler for Kubernetes. There are all kind of plugins or systems you can use, but it begins with measuring, and then you can take action. Small enhancement, yeah, big impact. What you already seen, like with the pyramid, if you make one change with an image, don't use that image, and you already use, yeah, you have already a big impact there. Downsize image, if you still want to use them, compress them, use caching and that kind of things. Yeah, your friend, I also created a blog about it, so if you want to read it through, it's there. And I want to thank you, and I have some stickers here with green coding. It's not very sustainable, but yeah, if people see you green coding, they would think also like, hey, maybe I need to also to do something with green coding. So thank you, and enjoy TEQnation. And sorry about my voice, yeah. Are there any questions? And otherwise, walk by, I would say, and yeah, grab the stickers, I would say. Yeah, and enjoy. Thanks.